Hi, and welcome to Marjorie's Candies and Cookies. And today I'm going to make a cookie. We're going to make oatmeal cookies. And these are the cookies. Okay, I stood them up in a pan here so I can store them. But we're also going to make them into a bar. Okay, 2 different ways to make these oatmeal cookies. And I made some without chocolate chips in them, and raisins and nuts. So I have a few people that don't like to eat the nuts and the chocolate, believe it or not. So we're going to get started in just a moment. These are the ingredients for the oatmeal cookies. We have 3 cups of flour here that I measure with the dipping method, so it be aerated. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt, which I'm going to combine in with my dry ingredients. And then I have 2 cups of sugar, granulated sugar, and this is 1 cup of shortening and 2 sticks, or 1 cup of butter, which I'm going to melt. I have 2 eggs, which I'm going to beat before I add them. This is a half a cup of milk. This is 1%, but I imagine you can use any kind you like. A half a cup of molasses, and 3 cups of oatmeal. This is regular oatmeal that takes about 5 minutes to cook. It's not the one that really takes 20 minutes to cook, but then again, it's not instant either. Here's 1 cup of chocolate chips, and 1 cup of raisins, and 1 cup of chopped walnuts. I think I have everything here, so I'm going to get started. But before I do, I want to tell you that I do have my oven on 325, between 325 and 350. And I have my butter is cooled down somewhat. Okay. And we're going to start by adding the shortenings and the sugars together. So I'm going to put the sugar in. Then the butter and shortening, and we'll also put the molasses in. And we'll just get that started. Then we're going to add our eggs. Let that go a little bit slow at first because there's a lot of liquid in there. I've been beating this for about a minute. It's just a little bit thick, all combined really nicely. And then I'm going to add the eggs. I beat the eggs together a little bit. Let that beat for a moment. Cookies are sort of the type of an item that you can almost put together by hand. So you don't have to overbeat anything. So I'm going to add the milk. I want to slow it down a little bit maybe because it's a liquid. Be careful. Then I took the flour and I had put the cinnamon and so on. I just mixed it together with a little whisk. Brought it together. And a little measuring cup just to add this to. Slow this down. This looks beautiful. I have to show you how nice this looks. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to make a mess trying to show you. I don't know if you can see how nice that looks. See? Almost looks like you're making a pecan pie or something. That's beautiful. Okay, so we'll put this on low, and we'll start to add our flour. You don't want to overbeat, so you want to add it pretty quickly. I'm just doing this because it might be easier than dumping this thing in. Although this bends pretty easily, so I probably could do that. These mixers have one of those things you can put on top and you can add things to a little hole. I've never actually done that because I don't care about making a big mess, I guess. Okay, so now I'll show you what this looks like. See, that's a little thicker now. See? Now we'll add the oatmeal. Okay. And then I'm going to pull some out to make some cookies. And I'm going to add the chocolate chips and the nuts by hand. I always like to do that. That way you don't break up the nuts so much. Squish the raisins. I don't want to forget to take some of this out though. We're still going to add the same amount of chocolate chips and everything to it, and raisins, because why not? So I'm just going to bring this together a little bit. I'm just folding it in. Let's see what I'm doing a little bit more. This is kind of a soft recipe, so as I let it sit a little bit, it's going to get a little thicker, because the moisture is going to absorb into the flour, which is good. It would be good for that to happen. Now the bell just went off on these cookies. I just want to show you that. I don't know if you can see there's still a little bit of a shine on the top. You don't want that shine, but those are very close to being done. Actually, these on the bottom have a little bit more shine. These on the top are done. Nope, actually that one back there in the corner's not. And I know they look really golden brown, but one of the nice things about the parchment paper is that when you take them out of the oven, you can just slide the paper right down onto your cooling rack. See the cooling rack here? And then you can let them cool for a moment, or you can take them off. I'm always pulling them out of the oven at the last very moment that they possibly can bake, so they're nice and brown, have a nice brown edge to them. So I'm always pulling them out like, oh my God, the cookies have to come out right now, and that's when they're like perfect. So I usually just slide them out onto the rack, and then I'll let them sit for a moment, and while I'm doing something else, I'll come back and I'll take them off with a spatula. Now that these cookies are cooled, you saw before I was trying to pull these off and they were really sticky and soft, even though now they're nice and done. Now they'll just come right off if they're cool. That's the other reason why the parchment paper is good. If you've ever made a Florentine cookie, which is very, very soft. It's almost a liquid. It's like one of the lace cookies. There, you really have to make them on these and let them just really cool on the parchment. What I thought I would do is, if I'm going to try this bar cookie for you guys, I better do it before I run out of batter making the cookies. So I'll first take what we need for the bar, and then we'll finish the rest up with cookies. Okay, so we wet our hands a little bit to press this in. That way it won't stick your fingers as much. I always try to make this, when I'm making a bar like brownies or anything like that, I always try to make the center a teeny bit thinner, so I push it out to the edge. Just a little bit more there. You want it to be just about an inch maybe. I've taken these out because See, they're very golden brown around the edge. And if I press down on it, this is a very kind of thick, heavy cookie, but it's springing back a little bit. So I know this side out here is done and is springing back, and this center is also springing back a little bit, and plus it's going to bake a little more while it sits, so you don't want to over bake it. I let this cool down a little while, and now so you can take it right out of the tin with the parchment paper still around. And you can just gently pull the parchment paper away. And you can take a knife and you can decide how. These are pretty intense cookies, they're pretty dense. So you really probably only need to make them about an inch. Okay. And you can actually cut them as much as you want to make them the other direction. Okay. And I'll go through and cut all of them. That's what they look like. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy these cookies, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!